You ever wonder why your back pain shows up? Right? It's sneaky, isn't it? Your other joints too. It's not always lifting something heavy out of the trunk of your car. Sometimes it's just sitting at your desk. Sometimes it's putting on a shoe. You feel this back pain. Why is it there still? Your day-to-day back pain is not just about one moment. It's about all that has come before and a very important balance. The tipping point. This is the delicate and very important balance between the stress we put on our bodies doing everyday things and our capacity to renew. When stress outweighs your capacity, especially over a prolonged period of time, that's when we're going to get pain and damage, and it's going to be getting worse. Now, this is a balance. Stress is not bad. You know that all the body systems need a certain amount of stress to stay healthy and to develop. You know, if we want stronger muscles, we need to stress them out. If we want stronger bones, we need to put those bones under stress. But we need to be able to renew faster than we are being worn down by these stresses. Otherwise, that damage is going to get worse and worse and worse. And if you're watching this, you might be over-tipped right now. We're going to look at how to rebalance your scales from today onwards. More studies have been coming out, doing stress tests on spines with cadavers and whatnot, that pain is usually a result of cumulative stress, more so than one event. Sometimes it's one event, but the cumulative stress breaking down tissues in your spinal discs and whatnot is what does a lot of the damage and what prevents you from healing. And it's why your back pain might still be sticking around for years now. You can think of a tree branch, you bend it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's going to get a little bit more broken every time, and it's going to get more damaged. Some people have spines that are a little bit more like a thicker branch, and you can put a lot of load on them. These are people that can deadlift hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and they're usually okay, but they're lacking some mobility. And so there's a genetic difference that you may have, a more of a bendy spine that's supple, or more of a stable spine that's stiffer. The tipping point is different stresses for each of those spines. So a bendy spine can bend a lot more times without getting so much damage. A thicker spine can handle a lot more compressive load without getting damaged, but it might suffer from trying to bend outside of its capacity too fast, too far. If you're sitting down right now and your back is hurting, there's a few things that could be going on. One, there's probably compressive stress on your spine right now that might be preventing you from healing as fast as you could. If you know that it hurts to sit down for hours at a time, you are pushing yourself past the tipping point of recovery. And so there's a simple solution. One, when you're sitting and you know it hurts to sit for more than 3 hours, make sure you get up maybe at about an hour and a half and move around. Go for a short walk or something. It's not necessarily going to the gym and deadlift a whole bunch of pounds, right? If that's going to set you past that tipping point of stress too. Now, I know you have life priorities. I know maybe you need to work at the computer to achieve what you want to achieve. Maybe you need to go outside and split firewood if you want to warm your home. Problem is not the activities as much as the form you come into it with and the amount of renewal you come with it. Where are the scales already sitting? Like we said, we want a certain amount of stress. We want the ability to be able to sit, to stand, to walk, to function, and do things around the house and at work. But we want to be able to do these in a way that isn't going to set us up for worsening pain. There's 3 big stressors that might be putting you past that stress tipping point and keeping you there. One is your movement mechanics. Basic activities like walking, going to the grocery store, doing things around the house. A lot of people have imbalanced hips, backs, and whatnot, and their movement mechanics are setting them up for a lot of stress, specifically on the spine. You might be experiencing symptoms in your knee, in your ankles, in your hips, in your shoulders as well. The same principles apply there. Another one can be your simple standing and walking default posture. A lot of people obviously have the computer slouch, the forward head, and this all puts stresses on the spine. The third one is that you are doing stressful activities without enough recovery in the bank, to say. And while you might get to the point, and want to get to the point as fast as possible, where you can ski the whole day without your knees and back hurting, where you can garden for a couple hours without your back hurting, where you can sit at your computer for 2 hours focused on writing without your back hurting. Yes, we may be able to get there, but we need to put some more recovery in the bank. And so that might mean for a certain amount of time, feeling it out as you go, you take those stressors back. You just do simpler tasks for shorter amount of times. You reduce the activity that's causing the stress and the damage to be too far over. I know that might mean taking a break from your favorite sports for a while, but if you want to be able to play the sports long term, be able to do the things you want to do when you're 70, 80 plus, that might be a sacrifice you're willing to make that aligns with your values for now. Yes, this might mean taking it easy in the gym. It might mean not doing certain movements in the gym because you realize this isn't aligned with my values anymore. It might be effective for building max strength or muscle mass, but if you're losing the ability to move with the freedom you want, to do activities without feeling pain and getting distracted by that all the time, and it's stiff and suffering, might be time for a change. So what can you do specifically to keep the scales balanced? Well, it starts with setting up your day for success. If you know that you can sit at the computer for an hour and it doesn't hurt, but if you sit at the computer for like 2 or 3 hours without moving, that's when things really start to hurt. The solution might seem obvious, but are you doing it? Maybe you set a timer. Every 45 minutes you get up and you do a little bit of cat-cow. You get into a position where you know that you are going to be setting your spine up for alignment and some decompression. Another one is making sure that you use decompression breathing throughout your day, especially during activities that you know might be compressing your spine. Like maybe walking for a few hours with a backpack on if you're a climber, hiker, or whatnot. You can make sure that you're at least decompression breathing some of the time. And we'll talk about that in another video, but the real short is that you were expanding your rib cage out sideways, keeping a little bit of abdominal tension, not chest breathing. And if you do this right now with me, you'll feel some space come between the discs in your spine. It's a very nice feeling, right? There's a little bit of relief there. Think about doing that more throughout your day, more when you're sitting, more when you're standing, even when you're doing some exercises, because you're keeping a stable, strong core, which is what we want to be able to move and do things in our life. But we're also growing taller per se and getting nutrients and all of that into our spine so we can actually recover faster. The last general technique I'm going to give you today in this video is about using ergonomic assistance. This is a tipping point thing. It's not just always use a knee brace, always use a back brace or whatever. You need to feel out how much stress you are ready for and make your best decision from there, or have a coach that has more experience with this to make the decision for you. But that means maybe using some lumbar support so your spine is able to relax more or less, but keep its good alignment where you aren't getting compressive stress on it. Maybe it means setting up your bed for success, using the right firmness of mattress, maybe a towel under the back and the neck or something instead of your old pillow. If you're sleeping on your back, instead of having a pillow under your head, pushing your head forwards, you can go and put that pillow under your knees and allow your lower back to relax into the bed a lot better. And that's not for everybody, but if it works for you to get out of pain so you can actually start getting into that tipping point of recovery, at least when you're in bed at night, then that could be a big win for you as well. There's lots of different ergonomic assisters, whether you use them for work, whether you use them in your office, whether you use them in your bed. We need to find out what is the best investment for you and how to use it for your success. So you've been watching this video for minutes now. Have you moved around? Have you taken your body through a decompression breath to relieve any compressive stress and get more nutrients into your vertebrae where you need them, into your joints where you need them? The seemingly small thing like a decompression breath can help you keep your tipping points in the right place. So you can train hard when you want to in the right amount of stress, but recover hard as well by keeping your posture and your movements throughout your day in the right part of the tipping point. If you're willing to focus not just during an hour-long workout during the day, but throughout your whole day, you can see progress so much faster. You can get pain-free in the vast majority of circumstances in pretty short amount of time, depending on what's going on for you. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but all we can do is set ourselves up for success throughout their day as much as possible. Last part here. How do we build our capacity? How do we build stability, strength, mobility, especially around the spine and the hips? If our spine and our hips aren't strong, Our capacity to do anything with strength is very, very limited. Now, honestly, there's no one solution. What is the best fix for somebody, best exercise that helps them mitigate their symptoms, neutralize their misalignments, and strengthen their body in an appropriate way, might be terrible for another person. Which is why I'm not going to give you a couple of cheap exercises to try. But really, the intensity has to be tailored for where you're at right now and what you're ready for. Otherwise, you might bend and bend and bend, or compress and compress too much with weight or mobility work, and end up putting yourself in more pain instead of getting the recovery that you're after and the expansion of your ability to handle stress in the future. I want you to know that pain is not something that you have to live with. It's something to say thank you for, because it's our body's alarm system telling us that, hey, something's out of balance. We need to make a change. We need to get back on the right side of the tipping point. Otherwise, more damage is going to be done. By understanding your tipping point, maybe dialing back the stress a little bit for a certain amount of time to allow you to recover properly will help you live more pain-free days and expand your athletic abilities moving forwards. How you sit, how you stand, how you sleep, how you walk, how you train, these are all very, very important elements that we can make a lot of upgrades to. What will you do today to balance your scale, reclaim your strength, and take responsibility for your results? Let's talk about what small changes will make the most difference for you.